What's good? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm going to do a review of the new Ransom and Nicholas Craven project entitled Crime Scenes. Let's get to it. Duffel Bag Ran Rothstein, arguably the most formidable and elite MC of 2020, is back again with a brand new project with Nicholas Craven entitled Crime Scenes. Now, this is the 5th project that they have dropped this year, and as cliche as it may sound, these guys are 5 for 5. While I consider all of their releases from 2020 to be quite stellar, Director's Cut Part 3 is still my favorite Ransom album of the year. But let me get straight into Crime Scenes. It's 7 tracks, well actually 6, and 1 skit lasting approximately 21 minutes. So it's similar in length to many of the releases they have dropped this year. You know, short but sweet. Kind of wish they were a little longer, but always hard hitting. I'm digging the cover art, by the way. I think the colors are real splashy. But with that being said, let me hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. Track 1, entitled Uncut Gems, is the first single. It has a sample with some suspenseful keys and a moody guitar riff. It feels like Ransom has an urgent message that he wants to get off his chest. You know, he wants fans to get some of these uncut gems or jewels. I paint precise pictures, write scriptures, dark but can shine as bright as light fixtures. And that's the thing with Ransom. He is always going to give you those real street scriptures. The second song, Good Time, features the 2 additional MVPs of the year. That's Stove God Cooks and Shay Noor. It's like having a triple threat on one record. Nicholas Craven cooks up a beat that sounds like classical soul music. It's soulful, but it feels like an orchestra at the same time. Ran sets this off with, my shooters on the bench just pray to God that they don't start. Ran, you should be an actor. I was in front of the parole board. Now I'm Marty from Ozark obtaining wealth. I used to piss on the floor when they was raiding cells. My brother was worse than me because he was raised in jail. Mama gave birth to demons. Now she raised in hell. Crazy, right? Oh, and I bought this SIG on stage like I was Dave Chappelle. I thought that was clever, given the double meaning to SIG. Stove God is on the hook, giving us that dope boy energy. He brings so much charisma and presence to these hooks. It's really crazy. Then on his verse, got it out the mud, made the doves fly. Ain't no pain like when the plug died. You know I'm sending MF Doom to do the gun firing, because you know MF Doom always stay masked up on his album cover, so I thought that was clever. Then he closes out the verse with, on the second floor, water whipping Cracker Jack, brought the glass down to the ass like the Shaq attack. Now, if you were old to remember, Shaq used to shatter the backboard, something serious, when he stepped on the scene in the early 90s. Shay goes last and has a fire verse as well. I was young, fresh as hell. I would fiend over sex and nails. Dudes catching shells from guns heavy as kettlebells. I rose to the ritz from a ghetto where you expect to fail. Goals to get rich, but move so low they can never tell. So I thought the move so low they can never tell line was important, especially if you were making money in the streets, because it's best to keep things boring and to stay off people's minds. Right after this is just an interlude from the movie Killing Them Softly. It has a Nicholas Craven soul beat as the backdrop. On 25th Hour, which was named after an underrated Spike Lee flick from back in the day, Nicholas Craven laces Ransom with some celebratory horns. It's giving me some 70s TV show vibes, meets, let's say, Jay's American Gangster soundtrack. You know the flavors. Ran had a couple of lines that stood out in the first verse. If you not status quo, they say you trouble, and I grew up in the struggle. I had to be unconventional. Those were just 2 dope lines that you could contemplate. I thought he really snapped on the second verse. And when it comes to facades, I seen them all, cause ain't nothing new that's under the stars. I sold dope in church. Yeah, I did it in front of God, cause a dude that think he blessed only when some money's involved. So I thought that line about cats who think they're blessed only when money is involved is an important jewel, because there are a lot of people out there with that short-sighted vision of what a blessing is. They think it only means when you're making some money. After this is The Right, featuring Stove God Cooks once more, on top of this sped up soul Production, Ran and Stove God take us to church. Well, actually, what they do is take us to the trap, but they manage to sprinkle in some religious references along the way. Stove God said, I knew I would be a legend jumping off the porch, fly that 911 Porsche, chicken, lemon pepper sauce, dump the water out and scrape the extras off. So many bricks like I'll cook the rest tomorrow. And if heaven got a kitchen, I'll be in that bitch dancing on the stove like New Edition. So he came through with that sacrilegious dope boy talk here. Up next is A Most Violent Year. This contains a moody and psychedelic guitar beat. On here, Ransom is hitting us with some of his streetwise philosophies. He's dropping gems like most dudes only be showing out for their pride. Most family only be showing out when you die, and they won't show us how to live, only teach us how to survive. Life's a test, take a crash course. Think about it, you can ruin your future because of your past thoughts. And that made me think of this old quote, what's your thoughts, they become your words. What's your words, they become your actions. So in other words, you always have to think about what thoughts you have inside your head, and you want to make sure that you're not putting energy out there that may come back to haunt you. And then this album closes out with Hell or High Water. It's a dope posse cut featuring Flea Lord, Rome Streets, Ito, and Riggs of the Cloth. So that's one hell of a lineup on a track. Nicholas Craven laces these gentlemen with what feels like a Western boom bap. The beat has a mafioso meets Wild West feel to it. I also like that there was a drum presence on this track. While I thought everyone definitely got busy on this record, it was Rome Streets who, in my opinion, had the most standout verse. And I feel like I've been saying this a lot this year about Rome Streets, is that he ends up stealing the show on a lot of his features. I put my plate in the pen, jot it on the page, and make paper. Used to pump poison into projects, selling death to nature. Now all my projects poison. Streets done got his name up. Still as fuck the police, Trump, and the legislators. This was a hard-hitting posse cut, probably one of the best of the year, and a fantastic way to close out this tape. Overall, I'm giving this 4 mics. I know it's short, and I typically don't like to give ratings for projects that give off more of that EP feel, but the lyricism was exceptional throughout, and the production was very solid. Let's be clear, while there were many MCs who had an elite pen in 2020, none of them were actually out rapping Ransom. I feel this was another notch in the belt for both Ransom and Nicholas Craven to close out their successful 2020. My favorite tracks include Good Time, 25th Hour, A Most Violent Year, and Hell or High Water. Let me know what you thought about this project in the comment section below. What should I check out next? It's your boy, Mixtape Mafia, signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Ransom, Nicholas Craven, Crime Scenes 1.